So one last thing I did want to talk about is the Bitcoin ETFs and now the Ethereum ETF. So I've been getting differing feelings about the NFT. I mean about the ETFs. You know, everybody wants the prices to go up. Everybody wants Bitcoin to go to 100, 200, 300,000. But does these ETFs defeat the purpose of crypto if we put price aside? Like, what is your overall feeling about these ETFs coming in and with the space? And of course, mass adoption or more adoption will come with them. But how do you feel? Do you think this is going against what Satoshi envisioned, or what do you think?
Okay, so first of all, Satoshi's vision isn't going anywhere with or without the ETF.
Mhm.
So what an ETF is literally an electronic traded fund, and you can literally you can see the situation where there are people who are in crypto right now. They're going to get the true Bitcoin. They're just going to go on an exchange, um, like Coinbase, whatnot, uh, and get a Bitcoin, transfer it to their wallet. But these people getting an ETF, an electronic traded fund, essentially they're just holding it through a company that just has it backed by Bitcoin.
Right.
So why not own it itself? It just doesn't make sense. So to answer your question, will it be bullish for Bitcoin? Absolutely, it's going to be. Just because people aren't holding it in their own sovereignty, that's when you get into the crypto politics of things. And I try not to get into that so much because different people do different things for different reasons. Some people, if you swing
Definitely.
trade a lot, you're probably not holding all your stuff in a wallet unless you're straddling and you have some long-term baggage. You're probably on an exchange, so you can get it in and get it out real quick. But if you're on, yeah, but if you have all of your stuff in a wallet, chances are you're not swinging nothing. You're just
Right.
accumulating or using it for DeFi and this and that, whatever. So, so is it bullish? Absolutely, yes. I was on a Spaces not too long ago with Gary Cardone, and by the way, I think that dude is savage. I love that guy. The truth is, I never even heard of him. I've heard of Grant, but I didn't even know he had a twin. And I saw him saying something about Bitcoin. I was like, "What?
Right.
Oh, dude, you're my boy. You're my boy
Yes. Yes.
immediately." You
Mhm.
know, like dude is savage, uh, and I think that somebody like him we could really use in the crypto space. But essentially, I was doing a calculation live while I was on the spaces, and I found that all of the 401ks and uh, all of the retirement that is saved up in legacy assets is equal to like 14 or 13 or 14 trillion dollars. And
I
then
think it's like
and I could be wrong. Yeah, and I could be wrong. I could be I know I'm Asian. I should be good at math. I'm just too lazy to use a calculator at the moment, but I think it came to like 200.2 billion. And so just even at 1% of 401ks um, and retirement savings. So you have 1% of that is over 200.2 billion. I mean, how could the market not go up if people are allowed to allocate that?
right.
So that's pretty much so. As far as do I think people are going to be bullish or not? Uh, yes, absolutely. I think it is.
So with the macro environment playing out the way it is, me personally, I still think we have more pain in the overall economy to come. I don't know how the stock market is going to react. I know Moody's just downgraded the U.S. credit rating to lower than when it was. I can't remember what the correct term they're using, but so treasuries might pop back up. As the bonds go down, the yield goes up to try to get buyers to come in. So with that happening, I'm not sure how the stock market is going to react. But like we were saying, though, crypto has been kind of untethered from traditional markets and the economy because it's been seen as a safe haven, like you were saying. So do you think that's going to continue? And do you think if we do go into a full blown recession, do you think that will weigh in or weigh on crypto?
So as far as it weighing in on crypto, we so Bitcoin was kind of born out of the last recession that we had. Out of two, because the 2007 2008 financial crisis. So this will be the first time that it's actually tested in that manner. This time I think it's going to be different. It's not just real estate. I think like it was last time. This time we're seeing a lot of bank failures, and it's very concerning. So that's definitely a situation to consider. We also have the fact that this is the first time financial investors are really or institutionalized investors and hedge fund managers are coming into crypto. So you could see a different type of impact as far as an inflation hedge and these geopolitics that are going on right now around the world. It's kind of funny because you would think that when Russia was sanctioned by the U.S. For the Ukrainian war situation, you would think that you know that they would have been hindered, but they weren't at all. All they did was utilize crypto and got around those sanctions and realized, oh, we don't have to use the US dollar. And then it was a chance for the entire world to look around and go, oh no, the US could hold us hostage for our dollars and say what we can and can't, if we can on ramp it or off ramp it, and they couldn't. And so what do they use? They use crypto. And so if these geopolitics that go on, yes. Now, if there's something like I said earlier, if World War III pops off, or if people are worried and they need physical metals such as gold, this and that, you could see some type of capitulation out of crypto. But if that doesn't happen, I could see the world using crypto more and more to kind of get away from the dollar. And I'm an American. I love America. I'm all about America. I'm a military brat. My father was in the army. Um, I wish that the dollar was backed by something legitimate, but maybe that thing could be crypto one day. Maybe it could be Bitcoin. But currently, right now, since it isn't that, there is a bullish case for crypto, even with world economic events occurring.
Definitely. And you know what? Right before we jumped on, I made like I was kind of ranting on a YouTube video where I was saying that, our monetary policy, our monetary system is just one, like a lot of people want to call crypto a Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme. I said our monetary system is the literal definition of a Ponzi scheme. They use new debt to pay off old debt. I don't want to hear that argument anymore. And this is what I've been saying. I was talking to one of my friends. He's a real estate guy, and he was, trying to pump up real estate, telling me that, over time, real estate has just keep going, keep going up. Excuse me. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna just tell you this, and I want you to do your homework. I told him inflation is not a bug; it is a feature. So while you're thinking that your house is appreciating, it is, but the dollar is depreciating, is being devalued. That's why everything is going up, assets going up, crypto being a hybrid version of assets going up. And he thought about it, and a lot of times, people get into crypto like me, we get into crypto because we want to be rich, we want to, price to go up and whatnot. But crypto does something. Well, it did this to me. It made me go down a rabbit hole that it's so many rabbit holes that it makes you go down. It's like the Matrix when you're taking the blue or the red pill. It makes you go down these rabbit holes. It makes you peel back layers. It makes you figure out what's actually going on, and it makes you deem the question not what is Bitcoin, but why Bitcoin. You understand? So that's one of the how I try to bring it out to people. When I'm trying to explain why I'm so heavy into crypto. Of course, I want the price to go up. Of course, I want it to go to $1 million and whatnot. But it's just inevitable because the dollar is just so it's just so debased, and it's not even it's the people who are running our system who are just the greed and the they it seems like they don't know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing. I don't know what's going on, but I know they're not looking out for the little person in crypto. And even Bill Noble, shout out to Bill Noble, Crypto Noble. He always says that crypto is the vehicle for the little person, the little guy. And I hope
Oh yeah,
people
absolutely. Amen.
I hope people realize that, and they recognize that, and they recognize that inflation is it may go up or down, but it's a feature, not a bug. And it's just they're trying to get stable prices, but how can something be stable if it's going up every year? That's not stable. So I try to opt out as much as I can, and yeah, and this is what I'm trying to get to. So how do you come to family or friends who are going through these tough times, or going through the environment that we're in the economy now? How do you view, because I'm kind of scared for them, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm kind of scared for them. A lot of them don't want to do the homework or do the due diligence. How are you handling that, or do you try to be like, the crypto evangelist of the family, or what are you doing to, help family and friends out?
Yeah, so yes,
That was
I
a lot
was.
to unpack. I'm sorry, but I get once I start talking about that, I start getting fired up. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. I understand you completely. I related on all levels of every single level in which you just mentioned. For example, being the evangelist for crypto in the family. Of course, everybody knows that. It's almost like as soon as you see the light, you're like you want to tell everybody about it, right? And but I've had experience with being a salesman in the past. You could come off as uh, even if even if you have an icebreaker and you're trying to talk to them and pull out your elevator speech to kind of break the ice. People can tell that you're like, well, what does this guy want? And so over time learning how to become an effective salesman, and you're not trying to because ultimately you have a goal. You want them to do what you want them to do, whether it be buy something, or even if you're married, maybe to do something that maybe not be unethical. If they do, just in every different scenario, your children, if they do something wrong, how to come about around about them. So that was definitely a learning curve for me, because in 2017, man, I told every single family member about it. Some jumped on and some were speculative, and but it's funny because when it goes down, it's like, I knew you was wrong. And then all of a sudden see it hit new highs, 67, 68K, whatever it was. And then people are like, oh, you were right. And then it comes
Mhm.
down again. So it's really a thing where all you can do is just be like Jesus. All you can do is spread the gospel. You try to do, you just try to spread the word, and, say what it is. And you can't ever make somebody come around to think what you want to think. All you can do is just spread the message, and then people are smart. They're gonna go, crap, he was right. I should have done it. Like for example, my father. I like I'm not sure if he's gonna get any. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But my mother's got some. And they'll see. They'll see. Same thing with some of my cousins, my nephews. They know it. People on the other side of my family, everybody knows I'm a Bitcoin bull. That's all I talk about. That's my favorite subject. And when we talk about something, it's going to be Bitcoin, it's going to be markets,
Right.
and that's going to be it. That's what's up.
Yeah. So in like I got a t-shirt. It says, in the bear market, you're a lunatic. In the bull market, you're a genius. It's really just boils down to that. In the last bull market,
Yep.
I want to say like the end, like that last push up to 69 in like October, November, my phone would not stop ringing. I mean, people
Hmm.
I hadn't talked to in years. I'm getting all type of messages on Instagram, Facebook. People are, blowing my phone up, calling me, asking
That's
me
when
all
you
type of
sell.
questions.
That's when you
You know
sell
what?
everything.
And that's something told me. I said, you know what? I was still a newbie. And I said, you know what? Yeah, but I'm still thinking we're going to 100,000. I'm still thinking everything's going to the moon. I mean, we were at the moon, but I think we were going to the moon and beyond, as certain people say. And it was just like that was the sign to sell. So I also came out with a book called Stop Being Late to the Party. I wrote it in the bear market. And I've been telling people to read it. I've been telling people about, like, you don't buy when Kim Kardashian is talking about it. That's when you sell. Like, now you're late to the
Hmm.
party. So that's why it's been a little bit tough in the bear market to try to get my message out or try to get people to listen, because they only want to listen when the number goes up. So now I'm starting to get a little bit more, people listening, and a little bit more people trying to communicate. But I know we're still. That's why I keep telling people on Twitter or X. I said we're not early, but we're early-ish, because my barber and the guy who rakes my leaves, and the mechanic, they're not talking about it yet. So we still got time. When they start talking about it, start unloading your bags. So that's one of the things that I learned. One of the key things that I wanted to implement in this cycle, I don't know if you feel the same, is to sell. Selling is the hardest thing, especially when your bags are going up. You're euphoric. I mean, you just see your portfolio going up every day. You can't sleep, you're checking your portfolio. The
Hmm.
hardest thing to do is hit that sell button. But once I learned how to trade, and once I start trading, I became more cyboric, as I want to say, when it comes to buying and selling, because when you're trading, you kind of gotta have ice in your veins. That's why most people fail, is because the emotional part. Anybody can learn the strategy, but it's the emotional part is what people don't get down packed. So now I think I'm well equipped for this bull market. And do you think this bear market has taught you some valuable lessons coming into this next bull market, or are you just the same old guy from last bull market ready to attack?
Oh, dude, I'm a new guy every single day. Learn something new every single day, whether it be from your children, your wife, an interaction on the street where you work, the market switching up, geopolitical situations going on. I'm a new person every day. But yeah, I would say it's not just this past bull market. So you learn something every bull market. You learn something every bear market. And in previous bear markets, I learned that I should have sold, when I had the chance. This previous bear market taught me, you know, glad I sold, when
Right.
Ethereum was when Ethereum was I'm not sub was past, it was in the three something $1,000 range, and and got out before crap hit the fan. And then finding a reentry, that's another thing that people need to realize. It's not just when to sell, but when is the
When to
bottom
do
coming?
it. Exactly.
And so your entry and your exit strategy, you may some people are all in people, and some people want to average in to kind of be careful, because what if they're wrong?
Mhm.
And so, there is no wrong or right answer, but yeah, it absolutely taught me, you, like you said, you have to pull the trigger. A lot of people are scared to. When you see your money going up, it's like, oh well, what if it could go more? I've learned this one thing: if you're swinging big bags, or you're trying to do like a single trade with everything you've got, and you're not trying to DCA, you definitely have to pull the trigger when you don't want to. That's one thing that I've learned. When you ever put your money in, and the money like it immediately goes down on you, you're like,
Mhm.
no. And then you put your money in, and then you take your money out, and
And
as
it
soon
goes
as you
up.
take your money out, it goes up. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it happens so many times that I literally had to. And that's one thing that Bill Noble, why he's so awesome, is because that's one thing that really penetrated me, was when you're looking at the same thing, everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
Because if it was that easy and I saw a chart and I'm like,
We'll all
oh,
be
should do
rich.
this. Yeah, we'd all be rich. Yeah, it never happens that way. So it's been a very big discipline. That's why I've been wanting to jump into Caspa, for example, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I should have bought it when it was red. My boy Archetype, he's been preaching about it everywhere, and we got that move, but it was too late. So it would be foolish to see a green candle and jump in it, and I felt the human part of me want to do it so bad,
It's
but I know
FOMO.
I couldn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't want to fall for it, and it still made another leg up, but that's fine because now it's retracing, which is cool because that'll be an opportunity to get it later.
Mhm.
And that's the way I feel about everything. So that's kind of exactly how I felt about the entire market. Everything was so bullish, and as soon as it started turning red, I'm like, oh, well, there's going to be a rotation. There's something's going to happen. And so that's when I noticed AVAX, and I was like, oh, AVAX is looking kind of juicy. Let's see, could it go higher? And I started drawing some levels, and I drew a channel, and I looked at a stochastic RSI divergence. And I was like, oh, this one has a case. So that's kind of what I did. And if I were smart, I'm probably not going to sell right now because I do plan on adding some later, even if it does retrace. But if I had a larger position in it, I would sell right now, wait for some retrace, put a little back in. If it retraces more, put some more back in. But even if it went up in my face, it doesn't matter because I still have some in the bag. And either way, I make money. So I try to.
Right.
I'm a firm believer of having my cake and eat it too.
Right. Same. 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 So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. Like where the crypto market is going. Even if we get a pullback, even if we get you know some type of retracement, and I'm excited because now I'm seeing how crypto is reacting to the world. To everything that's going on. Because that was the thing that we were all weary about. We didn't know how it would react to geopolitical tensions. We didn't know how it would react to the economy slowing down. We didn't know how it would react to the stock market, going down. The stock market, like the past couple, maybe like 3 weeks ago, it was like just down only. Didn't have that big bounce back, but crypto still, Bitcoin still held strong. And that
Hmm.
was one of the things that I like to see. And it was just like a few last tests that we had to see for Bitcoin. And I mean, it's still not over, but it's some little tests here and there that just builds my conviction stronger and stronger. So to wrap it up, I do want to come and I want to ask you, so with everything going on, with the crypto market being more and more bullish with big institutions, this is probably, we thought last cycle was the one with the institutions coming in. It's this one. So with everything happening, where do you see crypto in 2 years and then in 5 years?
Okay, so I guess there's no end all be all answer on this, but if I were to be straight up, I would have to correlate it to what's gone on in the past. So I remember when the computer came out, people said, "Why do I need a computer? I don't need one." They got it. There was, email. Um, that was the chat back in the day, and then there were these chat lines where you could get on Yahoo Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger, Merc, MIRC. You could, and a few others, and then it came out to what it is today, where you have live streams. You could literally, like, we're literally chatting, we're Gmailing right now, except through video.
Right,
That's how communication was. Um, so as far as 5 to 10 years from now, or 2 years, 5 years from now, we're in development mode. That's probably going to happen a lot faster, especially with artificial intelligence coming out at the same time. So let's say, I got my first computer was when I was in 8th grade. Of course, I had an Atari when I was a child. Those are technically like computers. And before that, a Commodore 64. That was my father's computer, but I remember playing around on it. It had like real, I think it was 3.5-inch floppies,
oh
like a
yeah.
real floppy, like
Yep.
no, it wasn't 3.5. It was like the 5 or 6 inch floppy. It was like you
Oh,
could
those are
wiggle
the
it
the
and
big
it would
ones, yeah.
flap. Yeah, that's the big ones. And so, you know, uh, come all the way until today. I mean, that's taken what that's like over 20 years, 20 years of development, and it gets faster and faster because it took longer than that for the TV to hit its S curve and go
Right.
parabolic. The same thing with the cell phone. The cell phone happened pretty quickly, but it still took a while. Um, but it gets faster and faster. Right now, I think it's going to be a lot faster with crypto and blockchain technology, and this is the next wave of it. So I would say, maybe in 10 to 15 years, we would be at where we're at now in equivalence with legacy technology, but with Bitcoin technology, or this new future technology with blockchain. And there's going to be a way to interact with blockchain technology that isn't even invented yet. So we have that to look at. So in 2 years, so technology wise, we're gonna have games that we can play on, like legitimate games. They even have some now that you could play, but I don't know how difficult it will be to get legacy game players onto crypto game playing, or digital game playing. And then as far as the price goes, you're gonna see price action. So there's gonna be project, just like back in the .com era. There are gonna be projects that got left behind, and there are gonna be projects that explode. I truly believe that we're gonna see the number one projects explode first. This bull cycle, especially this bull cycle, is a marker for projects that are going to stick around. Like Solana, people were hating on that,
Mhm.
and here we are. Same thing with ADA. Personally, I only invested into ADA one time. Not too bullish on it, as far as price action goes, but am I bullish on it as far as technology? Heck yeah. Of
Mhm.
course, it's going to go up because they've stuck around and done their due diligence. Charles Hoskinson is a mastermind. We have people who believe in the project, and it's just going to only go up from here. So any coin that you see that pumps with the Bitcoin market, and coins that don't pump, keep your eye on it, and especially the ones with continuation pumpage, because those are the ones that institutional investors are putting their money in. These, like I said earlier, these candles are not happening via retail. It's happening via institutional investors.
Exactly. Exactly. So one before we get out of here, one chart that I do liken the Bitcoin chart to, price wise, is the gold chart. If we look, I think it was 1994 when the gold ETF was first launched. We saw it just blast off. I mean, basically just a parabolic run up for like a few years. And then it kind of tapered off. Do you think Bitcoin will be like that, where we have some huge mega a lot of people keep saying super cycle type run, and then Bitcoin will taper off, and kind of stable out, and the 4-year cycles will be kind of diminished or non-existent anymore? Or do you think these boom and bust cycles in the crypto market will continue?
Well, it's a combination of all of them, I believe. You're going to have boom and bust cycles, but you have to. But it's not just as far as 1994 goes. You have to go all the way back to when gold was. If you go back far enough in the chart, I remember in 2011, maybe 2012, I was looking at the gold chart for my first time, and I was like, "Oh, well, let me go out. Let me zoom out. See what's the lowest point gold was ever at." And then I noticed this gap in the chart. It was like this big in the chart on this much of the screen. And I'm like, what's that gap? So I looked it up on Google and found out that it was banned. I can't remember exactly what the years were. It was like around the
Oh yeah.
1960 something,
Yep,
or
yep,
it,
I
it had to
remember.
do with, yeah, it had to do with like World War II or something. And
They were confiscating the gold. Yep.
yeah, and they made it illegal, and so that made me realize, oh wow, the government, did that. But then you look at it after that, and it exploded.
Mhm.
So it all has to do with supply and demand. And then you imagine what was gold worth during those years if it was truly on a chart. If you had a HODL chart of people in that gap of years, what would that number be? That number would probably have been way high, like super high,
Mhm.
and it was blocked out from the chart because it just was in non-existence. So if you compare that today into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a different technology with a similar concept of gold. So you can't make a computer chip using Bitcoin parts, like gold, as far as like, the pins that you would put on a chip, to interact with the motherboard, but or a ZIF socket. But you would definitely have, technology built upon it, or a way to get around sanctions, as we previously stated. So to compare gold to Bitcoin, I know people do, and gold is the best comparison. I would say gold and real estate are probably the two best comparisons that could be equal to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's a totally different beast. Um, so that's kind of where I stand on that.
So yeah, that's all I want to really come with. You know, nice fresh perspective. You're very knowledgeable about all different aspects of the space. Bullish, but you're not a moon boy. A lot of people are super bullish, or they're super bearish, and that kind of clouds your judgment. You want to come in and you want to look at the charts. You want to ride sentiment and just have an even keel. Well, no, we're all bullish, long term, semi short term or whatnot. But one thing I do like about you is you come with a technical perspective, and you also have your history, down pack. You know where it came from. Different things that happened in the past, and you implement, that information into now, and the technicals, and that's pretty much some of the things that I do, which is why I kind of gravitated towards you and your analysis. And I appreciate you coming on. And so where can people find you? What are you working on? Different things like that.
Yeah, so I'm working on a couple of different crypto projects right now, trying to bring water to the blockchain. Working on a project with that. I also work with Emerging Assets Group. That's another crypto dealio I'm working with at the moment. Several things going on there. I try not to shill that much because I
Mhm.
know how people are, as far as these pump and dump programs or crypto companies. I'm not all about that. I'm all about the proof is in the pudding, the proof is in the work.
Right.
So those are a couple of things I'm working on. Are also a few other projects that I'm working on at the moment, but I don't know if I can share that information right now. But where people can find me mainly is on Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter
Hmm.
X.
Right.
So you can mainly find me on there. You can find me in my Discord. If you want to put out a little invite, I'll share you a link, but it only works for 30 days at a time. So it's really an exclusive group. Um, we got some masterminds in there. We're silly. We like to play around, but it's something where we talk every day, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not anywhere else, and if I am, I'm not that active. Just mainly on X.
Okay, well, all his his link for X will be in the description. Make sure you go, make sure you follow him. We appreciate the time, Richard Berry coming on Crypto Funds Invest channel, and hopefully we can do this again.
Thanks. Peace out.
Peace.